So how hot can you load a Ruger New Vaquero 45 Colt? We're going to talk about it today on today's episode of Ref Shot Outdoors. Howdy folks, and welcome back to Ref Shot Outdoors. Now, lately I've been having people were kind of commenting on a video that I had hot loaded 45 Colt, and they were getting like pretty concerned, and I appreciate your concern for my safety and everything, but I'm gonna go over different tiers of 45 Colt. Now, as we all know, standard pressure 45 Colt, like this, store-bought stuff, pretty wimpy. 225 grain jacketed soft point with max. The Sammy max pressure is 14,000 psi. So that would be what we'd call a tier 2 load. Or, excuse me, a tier 1 load. 14,000 psi is tier 1. And then a lot of people hear about the Ruger only loads that you can't shoot in the new Vaquero, which is true. You cannot shoot what we generally consider a Ruger only load in the Ruger new Vaquero, like I've got here. You can't shoot them in Colts. You can't shoot them in Piettas, Ubertis. I think Heritage is making a 45. Generally, those Ruger only, we'd call that a tier 3 load. And that is 32,000 cup and above. What is cup? Well, it stands for copper units of pressure. It's not the same as PSI, but it's a load that, no, you cannot shoot that load in the new Vaquero. But the Ruger New Vaquero looks like a Colt single action army, but that's about where the similarities end. The frame and everything, it was never designed as a black powder firearm. It's a different frame design. The new Vaquero is built when the Black Hawk came out. In the 50s, there was 2 frame sizes. Well, I guess 3 technically. The single 6 is a small frame, the 357 Magnum frame, and the 44 Magnum frame. The 44 Magnum frame is what the original Vaqueros were built on in 45 Colt. Those can handle the Ruger only loads of 32,000 cup and above. And then when they came out with the new Vaquero, I wonder if we can see there. This is the 357 Magnum frame that they still use on the Blackhawks. It's a little different. Obviously, the top strap is different to accommodate the adjustable sights. But this frame was never designed as a black powder firearm frame. So you can shoot tier 2 loads in it, which I've got right here. I don't have any tier 3 because I haven't loaded any yet, but those, you know, you can buy those commercially. Grizzly cartridge makes it, Buffalo Bore makes it. There might be a few others. HSM might. Do not shoot those in anything less than a Ruger Blackhawk, Freedom Arms 83, 97, Freedom Arms 97, Thompson Center Contender, Magnum Research BFR, big bleeping revolver. It's actually not what it stands for, but it's fun to say. So let's see, we'll go talking tier 2 loads. I've loaded a few. I've shot them on the channel. This is a 250 grain hard cast, 13.5 grains of blue dot. And this is what I'd call a low end tier 2 load. It's somewhere between 16,000 and 19,000 PSI. It's noticeably more powerful than a factory load tier 1 at 14,000 PSI. But not a whole lot. This one, again, don't shoot this in a Colt. Don't shoot this in a Pieta. I'd have to look at those Heritage. I think they make a Heritage Rough Rider big frame in 45 Colt. I'm not 100% sure on that, but now I'm moving into, this is a full tier 2 load. 275 grain hard cast with up to 11.4 grains of long shot. Do not shoot this in a Colt or a Pieta or anything like that. I would be afraid to shoot this in really anything other than a Ruger. You can shoot this in Blackhawks, obviously. You know, the bigger frames, you know, the 44 Magnum frames, but this is I would say is your limit on what the new Vaquero can handle. So I actually loaded up a bunch at 11.4. I had bullet jump. I didn't have enough crimp on some. So I loaded up a vast majority at 11.2. This round has a lot of recoil, and just to make it a little easier to shoot, I backed it off some. But I've got a whole box here, so shoot, I think it's like 60 some at 11.2. I liked that a little bit better. So anyway, I guess that's all I got to say for this video. Kind of short, but that's, yeah, you can load the new Vaquero a little bit hotter than the Colts and the Pieta's black powder framed guns. Again, tier 2, not tier 3, but if your understanding is that the new Vaquero can only handle 14,000 PSI, no, it can handle up to 23. I hope this helped anybody that was out there wondering. Most commercially loaded tier 3 loads will not function in the new Vaquero because they make them long enough, too long for them to get past the forcing cone. If you ever run into that, do not use a hammer and push them in further. You will blow up the cylinder. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have for today's video. I'm Pete Refshaw with Refshaw Outdoors. Keep your powder dry.